G'day there guys, Markee here, and welcome back to another episode of r/Am I the Asshole? Let's go. Am I the asshole for insisting my brother's girlfriend proves she's pregnant or she has to move out? So my female 20, brother 24, has been on and off with his girlfriend 27 for a couple of years. It's been the same song and dance. They are happy for a few weeks, and then something small happens, they argue, it gets really nasty, and they make up and back to a loving couple. When I learned my brother got kicked out of his apartment and needed a place to stay, I offered him the extra room in my apartment, and my brother agreed to pay rent, help with bills, and pitch in with food. For 3 months now, she's been announcing she's pregnant. She alone will eat a snack box with 50 small bags of chips in a week. I tried to reason with her and get her to cut back. Not only from overeating, but she was running us low on food, but she insists she and the baby are healthy, and it's just cravings and blah blah blah. Since last month, most of what my parents send to my house, as my mum is a couponer so she bulk shops and gives away what she has too much of, my brother's girlfriend is the first to get into it, and a large portion of it is gone by a few days to a week. From a 24 case of Monster, the energy drink, 8 will be gone in a week from just her. She eats a hell of a lot of food too, most of which no pregnant woman should be consuming so much of, and yes, I know all pregnancies are different, but words can't explain how much she eats in one sitting. So today I had seen her drinking coffee, and after her second cup, I asked her if she should be drinking so much, and she said her doctor told her it was fine and she had no worries. When I suggested she take on a healthier diet for the baby, she just scoffed and walked out. I went and asked my brother if he's been to any of her doctor's appointments or even seen a positive pregnancy test, and he said that he didn't. I confronted her about it, and she said she didn't have to prove anything and started to get defensive. I told her she needed to show a test or some proof of going to the doctor, or she needs to move out as she doesn't help at all. My brother started defending her and changed his answer from not seeing any proof to seeing her pregnancy test. My parents got word of what I said, and my mum says that I was in no place to say anything, and every woman's body is different, and I wouldn't know since I've never been pregnant. Am I the asshole? And now in the comments, kinda not the asshole. Asking for proof is extreme, but she's also eating you out of your house and home. Even if she is actually pregnant, she probably needs to find a place of her own and get herself her own food. Do you really want a family of 3 living with you when the mum and dad have a shit show of a relationship? Spoiler alert, you do not. And OP replies, yeah, I see I was wrong for that. He said he only needed a few months to get back on their feet and he'd get his own place again, so I wasn't worried about them still living with me in the future. Except they haven't moved out, and depending on your lease, they could be considered tenants now, meaning you would have a hell of a hard time kicking them out. If she won't contribute financially, tell her she needs to buy her own groceries, or with your brother, and they are no longer allowed to eat your groceries at all. Not the asshole. And if your mother is so concerned, maybe she should house your brother and his girlfriend. And OP replies, she's the one that forced my brother to get his own apartment by kicking him out because she was sick of their arguing. Where's her empathy for the situation that you're now in? OP says, beats me. Well, she doesn't want them to try to move back in with her. Not the asshole since she is not contributing and is taking advantage, but I wouldn't make it a condition. I would simply tell them they need to find different accommodations or she needs to contribute. Side note, energy drinks while pregnant are not safe or healthy. 2 cups of coffee isn't bad. Yes, the energy drinks are way worse than the coffee. I'm not even sure if they are approved by the FDA for pregnant women. The FDA has actually only approved energy drinks for anyone to be only consumed once a week, since they are known to increase risk of stroke, which I would imagine be much worse for a pregnant woman. Not the asshole. Normally I'd say it's none of your business, but she's living in your home and eating your food. She can't claim it's pregnancy cravings, etc. if she doesn't want to prove she's pregnant. And OP replies, I did overstep, so I accept being in the wrong. I don't think you overstepped. I think she's manipulating everyone, and I'd be amazed if she's actually pregnant. I really hope she's not pregnant. And now back up to the post. Edit. I did talk to her a while ago about getting a job as well as helping out financially, and she said she would start, and never has. Right, so based on majority of the comments, I overstepped, yes. But I'm going to go with my gut on this one, and give them their 30 days notice and call it a day. I'll for sure update you guys in a month, when they're gone, and let you all, who is interested, know what's happened by then. I keep repeating myself. Let me add, my brother knows everything I've said, the excessive caffeine, no ultrasound, etc. Yes, my brother still buys her tampons monthly, and I know this because he goes with me when I buy mine. No, I was not faking concern by the coffee comment. She drinks 2 cups of coffee a day along with a Monster. That's a ton of caffeine. And now, onto the update. Okay, so I gave my brother and his girlfriend the 30 days notice, and they were to leave this Friday, but as of last Friday, I have my place to myself again. Basically, they fed me a bunch of lies since I gave them the 30 days notice. First, it was, she can't get an appointment or an ultrasound because of all the COVID patients. And then brother's girlfriend shows me a sonogram picture from her phone that I later found on Google Images. I asked why it was on her phone, and she said that it was emailed to her after her doctor's appointment that she couldn't get. Then my brother brought home baby clothes last week. To sell the lie, I guess, but they weren't clothes for a newborn. It was a lot of 9 to 12-month-old and 2T. When I asked him why none were proper clothes for newborns, he said, so he can grow into them. I was told she was pregnant with a girl, by the way. I didn't bother to ask any more questions because I knew it was going to be lies on top of lies. Then Friday, I got home to them arguing and at each other's throats. Eventually I called the cops because they weren't letting up. At this point, they had both come clean with the truth. Brother's truth: his girlfriend is the reason he was kicked out of his place, then she needed a place to stay because her parents kicked her out, so she forced him to let her stay in my house by faking being pregnant. He said after the first month he knew she wasn't pregnant because she got her period, but she forced him to keep up the lie so I'd let her stay. Girlfriend's truth was, brother invited her to stay at my place, and to make sure that I wouldn't say no, he told her to fake a pregnancy and I'd be sympathetic. I won't go into detail, but I'm 100% certain that part she said was true, and I wouldn't question her using tampons, as he'll make up a lie for her. She said he told her to eat up all of the food because it'll make it all seem legit. So that's about all. I'm still unsure who's telling the truth, but they both got all of their belongings and went their own way, I assume, so it's not my problem anymore. And now in the comments, so your brother and his girlfriend both admitted to lying to you, who cares which one had the idea first, in order to manipulate and take advantage of you. Yeah, you are well rid of them. Let your mum know the situation so they can't try the same crap with her. Thanks for the update. And obviously the trash took itself out now, and you have your home back, and you know neither of them can ever be trusted. Thank goodness OP threw them out before I got to the miscarriage part of their story. Calling it now, the girlfriend will tell everyone that the stress from this situation caused a miscarriage to excuse why she isn't pregnant to get sympathy. And if this happens, OP, please let us know. How did your mum react to the fake pregnancy and to kicking your brother out? OP replies, my mum hasn't really said much. She's still taking my brother's side, which I expected. Sounds like you were the only one with your crap together. Our next post is titled, Am I the asshole for not telling my parents that I converted? So I, 28 female for background context, was raised Hindu and had 2 very strict parents growing up. My dad was very emotionally distant and had a lot of problematic views about all kinds of people. My mother was overly controlling and spent most of my teenage years trying to make me the ideal version of a daughter that she had in mind. I resented my family hugely, and as soon as I had the chance, I ran away to university and never really looked back. Nowadays, I keep them at an arm's length and only see them twice a year or so, but I'm planning on cutting them off pretty soon. So I met Zach, 32 male, through work, and we've been together for about 4 years now. He had a totally different upbringing to me, and when he proposed 2.5 years ago, I decided to convert to his faith. I didn't do it purely for him or anything because I had been interested in his religion for a while, and so when he proposed, I kickstarted the process. The conversion process was finally completed back in July, and then a month later, we married. I dote on my in-laws, and the way that they treat me with love and kindness has always shocked me a little because I never had it growing up. I didn't invite my parents or anybody in my family because I know they would have absolutely disapproved of Zach, mainly because he's not Indian or Hindu. Me and Zach don't plan on having kids for a few years, but the arrangement would be that our kids would grow up exposed to Indian culture and would grow up with the 2 Indian languages that I grew up speaking. But they'd also be raised as Reformed Jews until they were old enough to make an informed decision about what they wanted to be. One of my cousins dropped by completely by surprise last week and was totally surprised to find Zach in my apartment. She noticed our wedding picture and stormed out of the apartment. Long story short, my phone is now blowing up with messages from multiple family members saying that I've betrayed them and that my parents are going to die from grief. I've had a voicemail of my mother screaming at me of how I failed them once again as a daughter by ditching the religion that I was born with and that I've always been a failure. I have blocked their numbers for the sake of my sanity. Zach has suggested leaving the country, and I'm seriously thinking about it. Am I the asshole? Zach's family insists I'm not, and they personally think my family is psychos, but at the same time, all the guilt tripping I'm being put through is starting to get to me. I know converting is a huge deal and everything, but at the same time I doubt my parents would have been supportive. And now in the comments, not the asshole. You made your own informed decision about something that literally doesn't harm anyone. Your parents are most likely lashing out because it doesn't look good for their image in the community. Sad, I know, but it's a good possibility. And mazel tov, I have a few friends who are Jewish, and from what I've heard, converting to Judaism is no easy feat. Well done, and you go enjoy your life with Zach. And OP replies, sadly, I think you were right. They were always obsessing over their image amongst their friends. And thank you. Obviously, they care more about their friends' approval than your happiness. Not the arsehole. Ultra-conservative part of Indian culture is extremely outdated, controlling, and dangerous. They treat you not as their children, but their property, and an extension of themselves. I would be concerned for your safety and leave the country. When they treat you as property, they are not beyond harming you. And OP replies, I agree fully, hence why Zach has suggested leaving the country now, as opposed to next year when I wanted to go no contact. I highly suggest watching your back since they know where you live. I know it might not be common, but there are still way too many of these kinds of stories ending badly. You can never be too safe. You are not the asshole for converting, but it's worth mentioning that you have been maintaining a somewhat cordial relationship with them and haven't even told them you were married. I don't think you're an asshole for that, but you are just dragging out unnecessary drama for yourself by compiling all of these huge secrets. Either cut the cord and stop contact as you plan to do, or be honest. Not for them, but for you. They are not entitled to anything from you, but you owe yourself to live an honest and secret-less life. And OP replies, I actually was going to go no contact next year because my current work are trying to see if I can get transferred to one of their international offices in the new year. It seemed safer to do it then, but now I'm reconsidering doing it now. Religion is the death to so many people. It's thrown around under the guise of God. It's repugnant. What is so interesting to me is the more someone screams some form of religion are also the ones who are the most destructive. Of course, your husband's religion was attractive. The people who you met in it have been the exact opposite of your family. Kudos to you for finding your path. I am so proud of you for blocking their numbers. I can see why your family would be hurt that they didn't get invited to your wedding, but those are also the seeds that they sowed, not the arsehole. And OP replies, the ironic thing is apostasy isn't a thing in Hinduism. As long as you reach enlightenment, you can follow whatever you like. From a religious point of view, I haven't done anything wrong, but I doubt they can do anything now. That is fascinating. Oftentimes, control stems in any controlling abusive relationships. I'm sure they were shocked. Anyone would be. The sad thing is that they will never see why. All you can do with that is protect yourself and walk away, or run. Running is good, lol. And OP replies, yep, Religious pluralism is a thing in Hinduism, but over the years, culture is mixed in, and people use that mix to control people. Even questioning God is considered healthy in some circles, sadly not in mine. I think they just didn't like that I've converted to an Abrahamic faith. If it had been a faith related to Hinduism, I doubt they would have cared. Not the arsehole. I have little doubt that the extent of your parents' behavior is procedurally abusive, and you have done the right thing to move on with your life and pursue your own happiness. If they are unwilling to accept your choices as an adult, then they do not have the privilege of being in your life, full stop. Wishing you all the best, OP, a firm and steadfast not the arsehole. And OP replies, they were very emotionally abusive growing up for sure. It sounds terrible, but it wasn't until I met Zach's family when I realized how messed up my upbringing was. And now onto the update. Hi, I posted a few weeks ago explaining about how my family found out that I converted to Reformed Judaism from Hinduism and married my Jewish husband behind their back. Most of you told me that I wasn't the asshole for not telling them this, and thank you for that. It really helped me with feeling like I had been a terrible daughter. So I'm updating if anyone is interested. Me and Zach ended our tenancy at our apartment, have temporarily moved to Scotland, and are currently in the process of moving to the Netherlands, where his aunts and uncles live. They knew about how bad my family were, but they didn't realize the full scale of it until my mother-in-law told them straight after I had a nervous breakdown over the messages my family were leaving me. Immediately, they offered to take us in, and one of his uncles offered to help sort out a work permit for me. Zach has an Irish passport, so the whole process is a lot smoother for him. My work couldn't sort out my transfer until next year, so I took up on that offer and I'm finishing off sending the documents that I need for my work permit. His aunt mentioned our situation to a friend of hers, and that friend has offered to let us rent a small flat he has until we can properly find our feet. We had a talk, and I'm going to change my name to my Jewish name instead to avoid being found. Thankfully, Zach has a very common Dutch surname, and my name is shortened to a fairly English one anyway, so for the time being, it's a start. Thank you for all the support. The kindness of Zach's family and their friends continues to blow me away, and I can't quite believe that I've finally found my circle. This whole experience of being found out as having converted was very emotionally draining, but I'm glad it's almost over. And now in the comments, I'm so sorry you had to go through all that crap, but I'm so happy for you now. May all your wishes and dreams come true and enjoy your new life. And I am so glad that you are both now able to make sure your future children will never experience that toxic environment. Here is to a wonderful future. And OP replies, hear me. Me and Zach are very chilled about religion as a whole, and I know if my kids didn't want to be Jewish anymore, we would still support them. That's the way to do it. So many people push their children away from God by shoving him down their throats when they are young. People need to relax, lol. I can say from experience that this is true, and that's why my kids will never go through it. I would suggest creating new social media profiles and be very wary of who you add / your privacy settings. I blocked not only my family, I blocked all of their friends and followers so they couldn't find my account. Good luck, OP, and I hope your life with your husband is wonderful and full of peace and content. OP replies to that, oh, that's a good shout. I'll do that and only have my in-laws, Zach's outer family, and my closest friends on it. Thank you. Change your email addresses too. It's a hassle, but there's a lot of ways to be tracked using your email, even if you've blocked everyone and locked down your socials. Your phone number and email, including a work email, are some of the easiest ways to track someone. I had training a few months back where an investigator started with an old email of the suspect and used it to narrow down the region and eventually to a restaurant where he went frequently, and they were able to arrest him. The suspect had locked his primary settings, but Gmail, as well as most free emails, have difficult to find settings that make your calendar, reviews, and just about anything public. The scariest part of that training was just how much was still available after I'd already locked my stuff down years ago. I couldn't find my social posts, but my email left a trail right to my home, doctor's, grocery store, and even which Starbucks location I go to. And OP says, already done. I made a new one when I got married, and nobody from my family has it. Only my Jewish family does. That's terrifying though. I changed it mainly because I have a fear of being hacked. If my work permit goes through, I'd be working for my uncle-in-law, and since he knows about my situation, he mentioned he'd not mention my name on the company website or anything at all until it was finally changed officially to my Jewish name. And even then, he would always ask and triple check with me about what work details of mine are online. Anyway guys, that concludes today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. If you did, smack the like button. If you didn't, obviously smack the like button. And I hope you have a bloody good day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.